Hi, I'm Mark Mancini from VRBOutstanding. If you stick around, this week's episode is on game rooms. Thanks for joining me this week on Game Rooms and VRBOutstanding's video this week. We're going to talk about how you can maximize the number of guests and attract them to your house, because game rooms, fun for all ages. Right here is my pool table. Now, I bought this when I first got my rental, so my first guests had access to this. I went with a brown or camel color felt. I just felt it looked a little bit better than the blue or green you see at bars. And I got this from Costco. The reason why I like this one from Costco is because it became a whole set type of purchase. They not only got me the pool table, but they also furnished me a ping pong table top. It's the same wood as the ping pong, but underneath it's got a felt and rubber coating on it. So when you put it on, it doesn't scratch your top of your pool table. Has the net, had the paddles and balls, so my guests can either play ping pong or table tennis, or they can play pool. The other thing that the Costco set gave me, which I really enjoyed, is the finished look of where to put everything, your billiards accessory wall. Now this has been replaced because guests have broken these, but your bridge is very important. It did come with that. It came with the balls, came with the rack, came with the pool sticks, and this wall mount, which we, as you can see, we had the beadboard or wainscoting cut out and mounted it right in here, give it a nice polished professional look. With a pool table, there's going to be things that go beyond just the initial cost of the pool table. There's going to be ongoing costs for replacement items, such as the felt tips for the pool sticks. And these are cheap. You can get either the whole tip, this whole thing comes right off, or in this case, just the felt goes around. And you can get these at Amazon. They're real inexpensive, but always have these in your owner's closet, because as they break each week, you just want to simply put the new one back on so the guests can go ahead. Now some of these wooden ones are inexpensive ones for kids to use because they're a little bit lighter, but these right here are the better ones. Now you can get these at Amazon. They're $45 or so each. Walmart has them as well, so if you need stuff same day, Walmart has them. It depends where you are. Here in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, I'm 3 miles away from a Walmart. In the Keys, I'm 80 miles away from a Walmart. So we live on Amazon over there. So again, a couple of these pool sticks were Amazon, a couple were Walmart. But again, you can see that the ends, the tips are replaceable, so you don't have to scrap a whole pool stick when that goes. Now, I also have ping pong balls here, table tennis balls, for those who want to play table tennis, and the paddles. Now, a few things about the game room, specifically the ping pong and pool table stuff. Guests will beat them up a bit. These paddles are great, except guests for some reason want to pick at the rubber and peel it back, and in, I don't know, a month or so, you'll probably get just a wooden paddle left. So if you can get just plastic or wooden paddles, you're probably better off that way, because that's how they're going to look. They start the season this way, but they don't end the season this way. You're also going to want to have extra balls in your owner's closet in case guests break them or lose them. So they can somehow roll underneath things too when they're here. The other thing the Costco set got me was even a brush to help clean off the table and keep it clean as well. The pool table will have to be refelted every so often. I've only had to refelt it once in about 10 years, so the guests have been treating it pretty much okay, but they do scratch up the pool table. And so as you can see, there are some gashes here and there that guests have left, and in 10 years, that's pretty much to be expected. One thing you do not want them to have is glasses on the table. So what you'll have to do is supply your guests in your room really with a high top. For those of you in the bar and restaurant industry, this is a high top. In fact, I got this from a local bar that either went out of business or changed hands. In the Myrtle Beach area, that happens often. And while that's sad for many people, it's also a plus because we get deals on these. And the great thing is, if you want to be VRB Outstanding, one of my recommendations in my course at VRBOutstanding.com is to get an enclosed trailer. It's multi-purpose, it's a great tax deduction, and it allows you to actually to keep things there if you don't have a shed, but it allows you to also transport your findings in Facebook and Craigslist. So always look for that over here. These chairs were probably a Wayfarer find. I don't think we got them at the same bar, but definitely make sure you've got a table and you've got coasters so that your guests can put their drinks on them. Also too, what you want to have is nice lighting for your pool table. Whether it is a traditional pool table light that comes down closer or not, I want something a little higher up so as you play ping pong, the balls wouldn't get hit on there. So always make sure you have good lighting around. And the pool table, it should pretty much hold up. Again, the refelting is something that will have to happen probably every several years. The thing about Costco's, the final thing I'll say without plugging them, because they don't pay me for this, there's no endorsements here, the price included installation. Installation is important. These pool tables are 3 pieces of marble. They have to be leveled before the felt is put on them. It's half a day's worth of work easily. So if you go to try to find one on Craigslist or Facebook that's on sale, what you're going to find out is that if the low price is going to cost you with a $500 installation and transport fee. So keep that in mind. Buying one new like this is going to last you a while. This is a Brunswick pool table. I want to say it's between about $2,200 and $2,500. Now, a VRB Outstanding secret to pool tables. I'm sharing it here with you only. I've never heard anyone else say this. Always get the same color chalk as you have felt. Never use the blue chalk that comes standard with pool tables that you see in the stores. You get the color that matches. So when they get chalk on it, when they go ahead and use the pool stick, it's not going to leave nice blue marks across it and make it look like a topography lesson or varicose veins. It is simply going to be brown and blend in with everything. So always get the same color chalk. No matter what color chalk or felt you get, they make chalk for it. That's a secret that you only know here. Now, aside from a pool table and a ping pong, or as they say, table tennis table, there's also other things you can get, like arcade games. So we're going to talk about that right now. Well, here we are at the Bazinga Game Room. Now, these aren't these Walmart, Wayfarer arcade games that you see nowadays. These are the full height, full size, real deal games back from the 80s. Now, this one's one of the most popular. This is a multi-cade. This has about, I want to say about 16 or 20 games. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Galexian, Dig Dug, you name it. And these are all games that I grew up with. And it's very popular for that reason, because it plays so many games. And it's 1 player, 2 player. But the most important thing about these games, and I have to stress this, is while they have the slot for quarters, they're all free play. These are not, we're not going to charge our guests for anything. So all these are free play, but at the end of the season, we open up these doors, and sure enough, there's money in there. Now, I also have, this is actually just a Galexian game. I think it was my second game I purchased. My first one was Centipede. Now you can get these games used in many places, in many cities. My first one I purchased, the Centipede, I got that back in Atlanta. I think I paid about $800 for it. You can find these often on Craigslist or Facebook, or if you're in a resort area, what you'll see is that there are places that service these for arcades, and they also sell these as well. In fact, I have a friend of mine in Atlanta. He has about 2 dozen of them in his basement back from the 80s. You can tell we're the same age. So these provide hours and hours of fun. And in your description of your listing, when you put in there game room, it goes a long way. Because what happens is the kids will look at that listing with looking for homes for their vacation, and they'll forward the link to that home to dad and to mom. Now, mom gets this email and sees this house, it looks nice, and they see game room. What she's thinking is, well, that's great, because the kids can be playing games, and I'll be in the hot tub with a glass of wine. Now, the dads are going to get that link, and they're going to look at it, and they're going to go, I grew up on these games, I'll kick their butt. And so they'll challenge the kids thinking, they can destroy them, or they're thinking, if it's a larger house and it's an extended family, maybe a brother or cousin is coming, and they're going to go ahead and challenge them. And the great thing is they're going to not have to spend money going out. They can stay here at night, have a few drinks, doesn't cost them any extra money, like $10 a beer going out to the bar or Dave & Buster's. They can have all the fun here. And it saves them not only a lot of money, but also it provides a family atmosphere. It really does. Whether it's a rainy day or at night, it keeps everyone entertained. This is also a very popular game. I know it's popular with me. The backstory on this game is that it was actually 3 or 4 different designs. In this game here at Maximum Force, it is these terrorists who try to kidnap innocent people, and you're supposed to shoot the bad guy. Well, they actually had the same kind of background and everything else, but they changed the bad guys to aliens, and then another one they changed it to zombies. So they made actually 3 different games off the same concept. Pretty ingenious. The only time we've ever had a problem with any of these games was these things, right? The guns. Twice, the guns have broken off, but the great thing is for about $100 on eBay, we get these, pop them right back in, and we're good to go. And obviously the guest gets charged either the deposit or damage protection. It's always important that you get those to the guest. Now, these are nice and quiet when they're not in use. There are settings you can set, so when they're not in use, they're not keeping people up all night. They don't have to turn them on and off when they're not in use. Speaking of on and off, there is a surge protector you want to make sure all these are plugged into. I use the APC brand UPS, and it protects these from storm like brownouts and lightning hits, because these are still a good amount of money. It's hard to find these. They're not making them anymore. In fact, again, these are the originals. These are wood. You can move these all you want. They're not going anywhere. So they stay nice and silent. People don't have to turn them on and off. And then when they go to play it, there you go. You got your sound kicking on. And since I went ahead and started the game, I'm going to go ahead and finish it. Another thing you're probably going to want is to put stools in front of each game. They may not get used for some of the bigger or older people, but for the younger ones, they'll appreciate sitting down and playing the game. Makes it more inviting as well. Now, another thing I want to bring up is some of you have gyms in your short-term rental, and that's fine. But understand in your description what sells, gym or game room. Which one are people going to choose? It's always going to be game room. So if you look at me, you're thinking, Mark, you look like maybe you work out. Well, truth be told, I actually earned my pro IFBB bodybuilding card last year. And I did it in the master's class, which is the older men's class. And the thing about people who work out on a regular basis, whether it's 5 to 7 days a week, is that every couple months, they like to take a week off to rest their body. So people who do work out a lot, having a short-term rental that has a gym isn't really as much of an attraction as you would think. Usually it's people who haven't worked out in a while, they'll see the gym and think, oh, maybe I'll start. And that's when people get hurt because they're not really sure of either what to do or how to pace themselves. So if you have one there, that's great, you can keep it there, but one thing to consider is changing it over to a game room and getting more bookings and asking for more money, because people will pay more if they have a place to play. That's what's going to make you VRB Outstanding. So these bar top games are also very popular. We have one here at Bazinga. They have a dollar slot machine, which we don't charge our guests, but from bars back in the day, drunks would amuse themselves for hours to put money in. There'd be 20, 30 different types of games on here, and it keeps kids occupied and out of your hair. So it's another inexpensive way, and also saves a lot of space by being able to put it on just a table like this. So something to think about are these, and also the cocktail table size arcade games. You may have seen those back in the day, where you'd have 2 chairs on either side, and it would just be like a cocktail table. Pac-Man, Dig Dug, etc., Defender, Joust, all those other games. And that's a great way to save space if you don't have the room for all those big, full-size arcade games. Thanks for joining us this week on VRB Outstanding. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you again next week.